Okay, guys, this is the after hours, the easiest way of solving. Yes, this is something different from what you've seen usually. Okay, so as you know, this is about forensic medium 90 points, and this is something to read by you. And we have the room access. You can just download these task files and you can just inspect these things on our local machine, or you can just start the attack box and do things like that. So in this section or in this video, I'm going to make this entire video, the entire content, more easy to do. Okay, so I'm just extracting. I'm not going to use any attack box in this lab environment, so I'm just using my local machine to solve this entire lab. So our aim is something that we definitely need to read, which is about pass the provided system artifacts for a hidden custom configuration data. We have to find a hidden custom configuration data and locate the malicious class and extract its embedded payload. We have to locate a malicious class and extract the payload, and you have to decode the payload and submit the recovered flag. These are the three tasks that we are going to do in the entire video. So we only need to submit a flag, and it is about forensic, it's about Windows. Okay, this is something to note, and it's about persistence in Windows. For enabling persistence in Windows, what you usually use, which tool can you use for enabling persistence in Windows? So let me show you that also. Like let's search for Windows persistence. Okay, so to see which is the tool that is coming up first, like Windows persistence tool, and when I search for that, you can see we have like a tool can refer to utility used in offensive or teaming, things like that, such as sharp persist or auto runs. So basically what I meant is about PowerShell. Have you heard of PowerShells? So let me search for the tools. You can see from here in the offensive and red team toolkits, we have various tools for positions, things like that. But here you have the PowerShell, right? So mostly most people use PowerShell for positions, things like that. So what I'm going to do right now is, as we extracted this, we can just open the particular file, and we have a lot of files, right? So in which the extension is .btr, .map, and .data. These are the three extension types of extension files that you are seeing from here, right? Once you double click here, you will be able to see something like this. This is my die tool. This is the detect etc. If you don't install the detect etc tool, I recommend you to install the detect etc tool. So we are going to use this tool to solve this entire thing in this video. So yeah, I'm just making everything easy. So you can just enter die and it will prompt you to install that, or you can just enter the command like sudo install sudo apt install die for installing the detect etc tool. I recommend you to install this tool. Okay, so if this doesn't work, then you can just enter die. If it is not installed, you will be see white here. In this case it's installed, so that is why you see a color here. So once you enter this and press enter, you will be prompted to install that particular application, and you have to install that, guys. Okay, so if that doesn't work, then you can just update your Linux, then try this. Okay, then it will definitely gonna work. Okay, so that's about installing die detect etc tool. So now we have this credential. So what we need to do is to get what is inside it. When you I am only able to open these kinds of thing only with this tool, but what I'm going to do is to open the terminal here, and I'm just going to use the strings command, guys. Strings. Okay, so you will be able to see why we use the strings command in the manual. You can see it's about print the sequences of printable characters in files. If you enter strings space a file name, it will going to print the sequences of printable characters in that particular file. Okay, that is the basic purpose of strings. And what I'm going to do right now here is to just use the strings on all of these files. Okay, so I'm just using strings star means all of these files. It includes these all files. Okay, so now when I press enter, I can see a lot of contents here, right? So it is hard for me to find a specific content. So as you can see from here in our task, we can see it's about an encrypted content, right? It's about an encoded content, right? So you can see decode it, right? So it is an encoded content. We can just simply decode it, right? So have you heard of a content that is easily decodable? Have you heard, like what kind of encryption or encoding method they most probably use? If they say you can just easily decode like things like this, so it's maybe the base 64, right? So other than that, we also have some other information for persistence tools like auto runs. Let's try with that. Like let's use the string star for all of the strings and grepping for the auto runs, guys. and nothing fine. So I'm just using -I also. Still I could not find anything. So what I'm going to do right now here is, as you know, that it may be base 64, and as I mentioned before, it's about the PowerShell, right? So persistence usually has tools like PowerShell, right? So let's try with some PowerShell concepts. Like let's enter PowerShell here, and guys, we got a base 64 encoded content. Right, so how I identify that this is a base 64 content? So this is most probably base 64 because you can see at the end there will be equal to equal to. This pretty much means that this may be base 64, not 100% sure, but most probably. Okay, so you can see this is where it starts from. I got this content, I'm just copying that, and I'm just going to use the CyberChef tool. Okay, so in the CyberChef tool, I'm just going to use the from base 64. So once you open the CyberChef tool, you can just drag this out, and you can see from base 64 is here. So once I paste this, you can see it's about a file, guys, right? This has some kind of things there. So let's try to use magic. Have you heard of magic? If not, then you're going to learn about magic in this video. Okay, so yeah, anyways, you can see we were able to get some contents, but there will be some gaps, things like that, right? So what I'm going to use is null byte. So you have the remove null byte option. Once you use that, the null bytes are removed, and now you will be able to see the main content. But this doesn't include any flag, right? So we can get some information from here. It's about root and this location, and it's about the hardware, telemetry, things like that. So what I'm going to do with this kind of information is you can just do things like using the grep command. What you can just use is just enter this, and this is about hardware telemetry, but unfortunately there is no kind of encoder, things like that. So you can just utilize the find option in the terminal, as we stringed all of the encoded contents using string space star, right? So you can just utilize the find option by pressing Ctrl Shift and F. You will be able to see a find option in the terminal, right? Now you can just enter this, guys. So our Windows 32 hardware telemetry is here. Once you enter that, you have another content, encoded content, right? So yeah, there will be a single equal to at the end. This may be also base 64. So by searching that, we get this encoded content, another encoded content. So I use the Ctrl Shift F to get the find option in the terminal, and I'm just searching for this, and under that I am able to see an encoded content, guys. So I'm just going to use that here, and here it is, guys. This is about IVOL, things like that. So I'm just removing this, and when I use the detect file type, have you heard of detect file type? So it's about basically for detecting the type of the file. If this is encoded or like decoded correctly, then we will be able to detect file. So as you can see, it's about unknown file type. There will be the file type was not detected. Maybe you heard of entropy. If you don't, then you can just use it here, right? So this is about entropy. You can see this is highly compressed or encrypted. So if the entropy is high, it will be highly compressed or encrypted, and you have to do something to decode this. You have to decode it again using any of the other methods. To know which method that helps us to decode this, we can just use the magic utility. That is what I mentioned before. So I highly recommend you don't skip any part of this video. Watch this entire video without skipping, so that you will have an understanding of how things work and how you can solve that properly. Okay, let's use the magic tool, and here in the magic you can see there will be recipe found, and it's about raw inflate, right? So from the magic tool we were able to find a raw inflate recipe. So now I'm just eliminating the magic tool, and I'm just going to use the raw inflate, guys. Here our raw inflate. So once I use that, I'm able to see something like this. Now let's check the entropy to see if it actually worked. So here now you can see previously it will be up to 7 point something, and it will be highly encrypted or compressed, but now it's 3 point something only. So that represents this does works. There will be data. So let's check the detect file type option. Let's search for the file type. Here it is, guys. So now you can see it's about a Windows portable executable. It is basically an exe, DLL, things like that. So yeah, we get the file. So now I'm just removing this, and now you have an option here to save the output to a file in the CyberChef, right? Once you click here, you can see it's an exe file. It's an executable Windows file, right? So once I click OK, it is downloaded in my machine. So here is our file. So this part is cool, right? So you have to watch this video till the end, otherwise you may miss something important, guys. So once you extract things like these, then you can just double click or right click and opening it with the detect etc tool. So unfortunately I could not find any option, so let me, yeah, you will be able to find from here. Right. So yeah, I'm just going to open the terminal and do the same. Okay. Now I'm just moving back, and here we have the download.exe. Now let's open this download.exe in our die, the detect etc tool, which is what I mentioned before to install you. So you can just install, pretty cool. So this is a pretty cool tool. So yeah, you can just install by entering die and pressing enter Y, things like that. So now I loaded this download.exe into the detect etc tool. Now we will be able to get some information about the linker, the language, the library, things like that. So now we have an option here called advanced. Once you click the advanced option, you will be having a lot of other options. So you have the memory dump, visualization, and a lot of other things. In this case, let's check for the entropy. You can see here is our entropy, and you also have some other options like disassembly, things like that, and hash, some of the hashes in it, and strings. Okay, this is the strings. As you can see, from here 73 strings found, and by you scrolling, we have a something suspicious, a base 64 again is what I found from here, right? So here is something called the net user patch, right? It's about patching. So by you loading the strings in the DTTC, I'm able to see an encoded content. I'm just copying the string. Now I'm just using the cyberchef to paste that. So yeah, let me copy that correctly. So yeah, here it is, copying this one. Okay, so now let's paste this, and I'm just going to, like, yeah, once you decode this, then you will be able to get the flag, guys. I'm not going to showing you that. So yeah, you can just use the encoded content only, like I will show you that, like you can just eliminate this. Okay, and our encoded content is this, guys. So you can just decode this to get the flag, guys. So that's pretty much about it, guys. I hope this video is informative for you. Thanks for watching.